I am so sorry. I know that there was one person in the room watching my live. I apologize. I don't know what's happening. I had to just go ahead and delete that stream. So instead of going into a bunch of foreplay before we get to the topic, I'm just going to hit it hard, fast. I'm coming in. Keep it PG-13, lady. Okay, so for those of you who know me, I'm Melanie Hind, aka Princess Ninja, aka the Keto Critic. They call me the Keto Critic because I used to be the worst critic of the ketogenic diet. Okay, so what brought up this topic? Number one, the first time I ever told somebody that I was intermittent fasting, they said, so basically you're starving yourself. They actually accused me of having a form of anorexia. More recently, especially with the influx of New Year's resolutions, I've seen a lot of people talking about the importance of breakfast. And I've had a couple very healthy debates with a few people about why what you eat for breakfast is actually more important than the breakfast itself, and why intermittent fasting is good for you. And I have actually been told by one or two people, not everybody, by one or two people, that I'm starving myself. So I just wanted to take a minute and do a video about this. It is Monday morning, so happy Monday morning. I hope you guys all have a productive week. Let me get to this. Okay, so we all know, and this is factual. Look, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a dietitian, I'm not a nutritionist, but these are documented medical, biological facts. They're not stuff that keto people make up to come to keto, come to the dark side. Look, if your diet is working for you and you can sustain it for a lifetime, then keep going. Keep going. Keep doing what it is that you're doing. But if you've tried the standard American diet, that's why I'm here calling myself the keto critic, because I've tried everything. And when people say, well, if you just did this, you would lose more weight, I get so infuriated, because you obviously haven't checked out the other 260 something videos I did about weight loss and Weight Watchers and doing vegan and doing vegetarian and Mediterranean and having DNA weight loss tests. Everything. I have done everything. I have experimented with everything, and it wasn't working. And let me tell you why it wasn't working. And then that'll explain to you why ketogenic is and intermittent fasting is not starving yourself, and also hopefully promote why you don't have to eat. Okay, first of all, breakfast. Let's break that down. Break fast. Most people consider breakfast the first meal of the day, right? That is the most important meal of the day. And you know why it's the most important meal of the day? Because assuming you don't get up in the middle of the night and have a snack, most people, when they wake up in the morning, have their food's been digested. It's been 8 to 10 hours since they last ate a meal, right? And so you've got a keto person and you've got a normal standard American diet person waking up in the morning, and it's been 8 to 10 hours since they've eaten, right? Their cells are depleted, assuming they don't have diabetes or anything else. If you have diabetes, it's different for you, because if you have diabetes and you're on a standard American diet, you still have probably some blood glucose and insulin floating around in your blood and not working because your pancreas isn't working right. Because, yeah, but I'm talking about normal people with no medical, no thyroid, no adrenal, no, just two normal people. So you've got this person on a standard American diet, and you've got this person on keto. This person on keto is fat adapted. Let's say they've been doing it 6 months and they're doing clean keto. All right, so you've got the standard American diet, and you've got this person that wakes up in the morning in the standard American diet because they've been taught that they have to eat breakfast or else their body can't get going. Well, if they're eating refined carbohydrates and they're eating sugar, that would be absolutely correct. You've got to eat something because your body's been depleted and it doesn't know how to run on ketones. So if you go 12, 15 hours without eating, you're going to be like shaky, and because your body doesn't know how to burn its own fat for fuel. Now, with that being said, if you were to take this sad person, standard American diet, and you were to convert them to a ketogenic diet, a very a very carbohydrate restrictive diet, what would happen is that's why they get the keto flu if they're not up in their electrolytes. So you have this person that goes from a carbohydrate, even though they're calorie restricting, their body still doesn't know how to burn fat because they're constantly feeding it glucose, right? Glucose is so much easier to burn than ketones, with your body not knowing how to produce and live off ketones, that it's gonna always look for the sugar first. Even me, who's been keto for almost 9 months, if I were to eat a carbohydrate right now, my body would burn carbohydrates before it burnt fat, just because it's an easier source of fuel. But the longer you go into ketosis, the more your body prefers that type of energy. So I'm not a doctor, once again, I'm not a nutritionist. I'm tired of having this breakfast debate. So breakfast means you're breaking your fast. Just because I choose to break my fast at 17, 18, 19, and 20 hours versus somebody who breaks their fast at 7 or 8 in the morning with only 10 hours fasted, I'm not starving myself. You know why? Because I'm still very fat. My body does not have glucose. So guess what? It's burning fat. It's burning fat. So when I eat breakfast, I'm still eating breakfast. I'm eating 2 meals a day. But actually, they're finding out, and this is not me being keto, trying to entice you to do keto. If your standard American diet, calorie restrictive diet is working for you, then by all means, keep doing what you're doing. But at the same sense, don't insult the people who are doing keto, who are also having so much success doing what they're doing. Obviously, your body likes the diet you're on. My body likes this diet. And can we just all be friends? Can we just agree to disagree? But I'm going to defend my stance on fasting. Why? Because in 2016, a doctor named Yoshinora won the Nobel Prize in medicine for his studies of intermittent fasting. I highly recommend that you check that out. Dr. Jason Fung is curing thousands of people of their chronic type 1, type 2 diabetes with intermittent and long-term fasting in conjunction with a low carbohydrate or ketogenic diet. There are people all over YouTube, all over Instagram that do 1 meal a day, OMAD. I'm not brave enough to try that yet, but there are people doing OMAD who have reversed some of the most chronic skin conditions. People who do 48, 72-hour fasts like once a month, and they've been able to shrink cancer cells. I mean, if you look at the research that's out there, what do we know? That there are so many kinds of cancers out there that feed on sugar. They feed on sugar. It is a fact that there are a certain percentage of cancers that feed on sugar. So by lowering my sugar, by living a low carb lifestyle or ketogenic lifestyle, I'm actually reducing my chances of getting those types of cancer. The other thing that you've got here is that it is a known fact that digestion, the process of digestion takes almost 6 hours. So if you're eating 3 meals a day out of a 24-hour period, your body is in digestive mode for 18 out of those 24 hours. When does your body have time to rest? Why do you think they tell you you should wait at least an hour after you've eaten to work out? Because your body devotes every bit of its energy to that digestive process. And if you don't allow for that process, you end up with all kinds of stomach problems. But if I were to take a ketogenic diet in a SAD person, assuming they have no background of thyroid, diabetes, or any other medical issues, on day 1 of me stranding you on a desert island, the ketogenic person really isn't going to notice any difference. Assuming there's a source of fresh water. We're assuming there's fresh water on this island. The ketogenic person, assuming they have some body fat, is going to be fine day 1. The person coming from a carb-laden, glucose-laden diet, I don't care how much you restrict your calories. Your body has no idea what to do with the fat. No idea. And it's not going to know for about 72 hours. Okay? So that first 72 hours that you are stranded on an island, the keto person's going to be fine. They're going to feel hungry. They're going to feel hunger, but they're not going to be starving. Why? Because your body's going to say, she's got plenty of fat stores, and it's going to go after fat, and it's going to create ketones. I'm not saying physically I won't feel hungry, but after 72 hours, I'm actually going to have amazing energy. I'm actually still not going to be starving versus somebody whose body is just now figuring out, wait a minute, we have no sugar to burn here. You're going to have the keto flu from you know what. You're going to be hurting. You're going to be weak. You're going to be lethargic. You're going to probably have a headache. And you're going to feel sick. You're going to be getting Charlie horses. You're going to, all of those things that come along with when people first transfer to keto. Because your body doesn't know how to burn, how to utilize the fat in your body. So yes, you are losing weight. You are shrinking cells. But here's the other thing about long-term and intermittent fast. After 12 hours, and this isn't me, this isn't made up. You can look at Thomas DeLauer, you can look at Dr. Boss, you can look at Dr. Jason Fung, you can look at Dr. Westman, you can look at, Two Fit Docs. You can look at all of these experts, all of them with medical degrees on fasting, and what they're going to tell you is that after 12 hours of fasting, assuming that you're already fat adapted on a ketogenic, your body's going to reach a state of autophagy. Autophagy is where the good, strong cells in your body will go eat the bad cells and then create new cells with the DNA strands from those cells. They'll destroy the ones that are not viable and they'll use those as a fuel source, but the ones that are healthy and viable, they will renew. They will renew and they will create new cells. It is also a fact that long-term fasting promotes human growth hormone, and we've all heard about human growth hormone. There are people doing standard American diet, still eating refined carbs and sugar, that go to their doctor and get that HCG shot and they lose weight. But people who are doing intermittent and long-term fasting are reducing that at a rampant rate. That's why a lot of times when you see people who are doing long-term and intermittent fasting, when they lose a tremendous amount of weight, they don't have as bad of saggy skin issues as obese people who just lose the weight. Why? Because our good cells are going in and they're eating those bad cells. They're tightening that saggy skin. It's a medical biological hack that they've proven that long-term intermittent fasting can reverse the aging. Holy cow. It has been 4 years since I started my journey, and I look younger now than I did the day I started my journey. So when you say to me, you're not eating the most important meal of the day. Yes, I am. I'm just doing it at 11 o'clock. After I've allowed the 6-hour digestive process to completely complete itself, after I've relied on my body to burn some of the fat stores because I'm still morbidly obese. I weigh 195 pounds. I'm 5'5". I have plenty of fat. I'm giving my body a chance to not have to produce insulin. I'm giving my body a chance to go without sugar, which is known to be toxic. Do I promote or believe that everybody should fast 48, 72 hours? Look, I believe that you've got to reach whatever goals it is that you're going for. I personally could not see myself doing a 48-hour fast, But when I first started keto, I said I would not see myself doing a 20-hour fast, and yet I do a 20-hour fast at least once a week. So there's that. I mean, I say that I don't think I would, but it's possible. Anyway, I've got a plank challenge. I hope that helps you understand. If I was doing a standard American diet and my body was totally reliant on glucose for energy, then yes, you are correct. Going without food is starving myself, and that's why most people are not successful on a calorie in, calorie out, fat reduction, all of that kinds of diets, because they're starving themselves and they're starving themselves and they're starving themselves of glucose, glucose, glucose. Now there's going to come a point where I'm not going to have the type of body fat that I have now, and I am going to have to up my calories, right? My body's going to be looking for that. This intermittent fasting may not be a long-term for me, but I love the health benefits. I love that I feel more energy than I've ever felt in my life ever eating breakfast at 6 a.m. So I hope that made sense, and I hope my keto people will chime in, below, and add to that. It blows my mind how people think about intermittent fasting, and when you start talking about taking away a meal from them, I don't have an eating disorder, I promise. I have keto, wanting to be thin, wanting to be lovely. It's not killing me. And you have to trust me when I say I still have plenty of fuel source when I'm not eating. But that's because I am fat adapted. So you guys have a great day. Keep being a ninja. I'm going to keep being a ninja. I've got to do some wall push-ups. Today is arms because I've got a plank challenge going on.